just look around the room first and look at the breadth and the depth of people opposed to the Academies and Free School programme. We have in this room school students who are campaigning, we have parents campaigning, we have trade unionists from all the different education unions and more. We are a real nationwide movement who are campaigning against academies, and we need to go out from this conference today with a sense of confidence about our position. I always have a sort of anxiety when we put on conferences, and it's partly this, because it's such a broad alliance, we have to have huge long platforms, and I get a lot of criticism that there's not enough time for people to speak from the floor, and the workshops get crushed. And I want to just talk to you about what the purpose of the workshops are today. The idea of these workshops is that you can all work together to start to formulate ideas, to share ideas about how you've been campaigning. You all have in this room, or maybe some of you are new to it, but many of you have incredible amounts of experience. And the idea is that you share that experience and that you come back with ideas about how to take the campaigning forward. So that's the purpose of the workshops. I know it's frustrating that we can't have enough plenary time and everybody to have a say, but it's just the nature of the breadth of the alliance. I just want to make one general political point about the situation. I think it's been a fantastic opening session with lots of range of opinions, but at the heart of this issue, there is an issue about democracy in our schools and about democracy in education. And I think the Archbishop of Canterbury had it absolutely right. There is no mandate for the Academies programme. There is no mandate for the Free Schools programme. And I'll tell you why I agree with Patrick and I disagree with Gerald. This is like the NHS. But I'll tell you what the difference is. No one's confused about the NHS. Everybody knows it's privatisation. In education, there is confusion, and I'll tell you why I think there's confusion. It's because it was started by New Labour, by a man called Lord Adonis. But it was also, people are confused, because despite the great efforts of Peter at Lib Dem conference, the Lib Dems utterly betrayed anybody's respect in terms of voting against academies. So people are genuinely confused about what is happening. Are academies a good idea? Aren't they a good idea? The national politicians, the Orange Liberals, the New Labour cabinet, these sorts of people have led us down a terrible path of privatisation, what other people call neoliberalism, and that is the problem. People are confused in general. But I tell you, when you go to schools, when you speak to parents and you speak to staff, actually we win the arguments. I just want to tell you one little story about a school I was in this week in a London borough. There was a debate. The head teacher shut the school for the afternoon, directed time. Every single member of staff could come. We had a debate between Bill Watkin of the Specialist Schools and Academies Trust and me. We each had 15 minutes. We were able to put the arguments for and against, and then there was a ballot, properly constructed ballot at the end of the meeting. The result of the ballot? 148 ballot papers were given out, 142 were returned, 4 people voted for the Academy, 138 people voted against. This is about democracy. And this is where we're going to turn it over. It's about democracy at the school gate, within the stakeholders, the education stakeholders. Our head teachers and our chairs of governors do not have the right to hand over our schools to privatisation. We need to have that argument in every school. The last point I want to make. I am incredibly optimistic, partly because of the range of people here, and I just wanted to say, I saw Ken Purchase turn up. Ken Purchase, who was a former Labour MP, helped set up. We've built up a tradition here now of campaigning, and we need to take that forward. But the last point I want to make is my optimism stems. I don't know how many of you were also on this demonstration, but on the 26th of March, 500,000 people marched through central London. I reckon every one of them 500,000, even if they didn't know it, are against academies. I also know that there's a rising tide of disgust about the coalition and their policies and their privatisation. I know that on the 30th of June, people will be striking against pensions. These are all interlinked issues. Cuts and privatisation are the two sides of the same coin. That's what the coalition are trying to force on us. We've got years of cuts coming, and we need to fight them at every single point. That's why I'm incredibly confident, because The people are with us. We just need to organise to mobilise them, and that's what the conference has got to do. So in your workshops, come out with ideas for action, for campaigning, so we can all pull it together by the end of the conference. Good luck in the workshops.